Hi, it's Hazel and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. As you can see by this pile of goodness, this is another Happy Mail video. It is a, let's use the hashtag Friendship Any Day, which was created by Dale at Not Too Shabby Chic. This was a package, and obviously it didn't come like this. This was a box that I received when we were on our recent trip to my son and his family in Denver. And it came from Carrie, the paper monkey. Now, this, I haven't peeked at it. I mean, obviously I can see what is here because I had to repack it, make it fit in my studio, well, that too, but I also had to make it fit in my suitcase along with other packages of Happy Mail. I haven't looked at anything, but I already know that this is going to be a special one. I feel particularly blessed that Carrie is in my life. I probably have told this story before, but I'll just repeat it because it bears repeating. That like probably some of you back in the day, I started a YouTube channel basically scared stiff, not really knowing what I was doing, not having the most professional setup, not liking the sound of my voice, all those knots and all those criticisms and self-doubts that we let into our lives and that we rent space to in our minds. And I don't know what my subscriber numbers were at the time, but I remember getting a comment from the paper monkey asking if I would be okay with her promoting my channel, and that her mission was to draw attention to the little channels. And me, being who I am, said, well, yes, of course, that sounds great. However, one day I hope to be one of the big channels. So there's that that dichotomy there, that the desire, the acknowledgement that I am where I am, subscriber-wise and income-wise and all of that, all those measurements that we have, but also knowing that the world keeps track. And in the world of YouTube and social media, one of the ways to keep track is by counting, by numbers, so it's likes and subscribers and shares and comments and thumbs up and with Etsy, it's sales and so on, and views, and how long people stayed on it. It's mind-boggling. I also think it can be paralyzing to get too hung up on, okay, I think that the trend is going to be such and such, and I'm going to be right there, and I think that's going to benefit, hey, I think I might have played that game at one time, maybe in my youth, thinking that I had to be a type A on the hunt, you got to prove something either to yourself, perhaps most of all, or to others. And now I just think, hey, I am doing this because I love it. I'm doing it because it brings me joy, because it uses up things that I have been saving for probably way too long. And if what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and the presentation and the subject matter and the the delivery style resonates with some of you, then hey, that's a bonus. So that comment from Carrie began a process of, she and let me be clear. She wasn't very much further ahead than I was. If we're comparing and whatever. I don't know what her subscriber count was at the time, but it's not like she was in the thousands by any stretch of the imagination. We were basically kind of, on the same journey. We were running parallel on the track there. But she has such a generous spirit, and if you have not subscribed to her channel, you definitely should. She's enthusiastic and outgoing, and also, and I've said this to her in comments, a bit self-deprecating. And I kind of wish that, I mean, she is who she is, just as I am who I am. But I don't think she gives herself enough credit for what she has and what she does. So subscribe to her channel, and it won't take many videos to realize that she is all about giving a leg up to someone else, to sharing information, to making connections. And it was through her that I became aware of Angela, the traveling crafter, and Carol, Crinkled Path, and so many other people sort of in that circle. People who now regularly watch and comment on my videos, and it's been wonderful. So let's dig into this, because I've kind of gone off on a little tangent there. Now, Carrie lives in Louisiana, Louisiana, and she, of course, temperature is not an issue there, so she has what she calls her craft shed. Yeah, I think it's shed. And she and her husband did a little extension to it, and then she did a craft tour. And I know envy is not a thing, not a good thing, and it's not something we should indulge in. But I really loved what she came up with for her fabric storage. And it appears that her style is evolving. Like, she's very much into, she loves kids' books, bright colors, the whimsy of, children's illustrations and that sort of thing. So it is not at all surprising to me that she put together this, what I would call a snippet roll. Oh, and wait, what does she call her sewing machine? Oh, I've forgotten. I thought it was named after one of the presidents. Oh, anyway, let me not embarrass myself by guessing the wrong thing. So this is really cute, and it's, well, obviously easy. 3 rows of stitching, some zigzagging down the middle, 2 rows of straight stitches, and look how sweet that is. And of course, it's long enough that it could be a tie around a journal, or it could be cut up and used in pieces. So this is lovely, and I'm going to steal that idea. Thank you very much. And I'm sure, I don't think I've ever seen her do a process video on this, but it doesn't appear that anything is glued. So she probably just, has her strip, lays a piece of fabric. Now, mind you, okay, maybe she started at this end. We're going to break her code right here and now. No, is that the one I was just looking at? Okay, so she started at this end, lay that gingham down, then lay the polka dot down, because there's that overlapping. Well, that's pretty smart. It saves the effort of having to glue and then wait for the glue to dry. Yeah, that's cool. Now, I'm not sure if this is what she calls paper or fabric washi. I know she uses that comment a lot, and I've never asked for the clarification. I know that some people call fabric attached to 2-sided carpet tape fabric washi. So, Carrie, maybe you can clarify that in the comments, and then I will know, okay, where to begin. Look at those fancy dancy mushrooms. So the front of the card is really sweet, and then you've got all these Psychedelic mushrooms. So if you ever hear that Hazel has started doing mushrooms, you'll know that this is what I mean. Very nice. Okay, what are these? Well, these are cool. Okay, French. Journey through gourmet Paris reveals high culinary standards and a great deal of specialization, making it fun for the... Okay, so these are different. Look at, the route on each map is different. That is so darn cool. So it's like a tourism thing. And that Carrie really has a lot of pride in her home state. And I've often, said in comments that if her career working in hospitals doesn't work, doesn't turn out long term, although it has, she could be on the tourist bureau for the state because she really talks up her state. These are so cool. It's really like a touristy thing. I've never seen anything like that before. So thank you for... Oh my goodness. Look at these, like they're little rosettes. And they're spaced far enough apart that you could just, cut the one you need. Twill tape. So she's used everything from, you gotta admire a girl who has all that fabric and is actually using it. Carrie, tell me if you've done a video on this. I thought I was keeping up with watching your videos, but clearly you've been doing some serious sewing, woman. And there's just... Okay, this one she zigzagged. Oh, these guys she zigzagged, but these are not. So maybe it's glue? Yeah, I feel kind of the glue there. Gluing? I wonder. I bet you gluing is easier, to be honest. Well, I don't know. I guess tell me. Which is easier, gluing or zigzagging? But that is so nice. Thank you for that. Little fabric. Hazel. Hazel. It wouldn't be mine if it wasn't crooked. With love, Carrie. I believe that this is a needle book, and it is very... Okay, so she's used that's a good idea. I made a needle book, which I'll show you one day. This felt is nicer than what I've used. And she's got some dyed Aida cloth here. Okay, this one is special because you did it. That was one of the videos I planned to do this year. Was doing it. Whoops, this is crumbling a bit. Just the way we like them. New Handy Webster Dictionary. Oh, look at that cover separating. Can't make out what that says. But look at the great color. An illustrated self-pronouncing dictionary of the English language. Long before I got involved with junk journaling, I had a dictionary collection. And now I have, of course, so many more. Copyright 1959, with the first one being 1940. Fleur-de-lis, and that, of course, is, I don't know if it's the official state symbol of Louisiana or not, but certainly it is prevalent there. Oh, bonus cartoon or caricature. So there are some cute little illustrations in here. But the color of the pages is pretty darn priceless. And sewn in signatures, always a bonus. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, what is this? A box full of whale tails. Whale tail, what do you call these? Tabs. Let's see what colors she chose. Black is always good. Pink. Fancy dancy, glittery, green and pink. Boy, that took some effort, girl. And then some printed ones. Love them. I don't have a whale tail punch. I make do with what I have. But certainly, no matter what shape these would have been, I appreciate the sweat equity that you put into them. Cute little box, too, by the way. Very nice. And I saw somebody else with these. These are so cool. Okay, 1990. Okay, Pensacola Christian College. And you know, it isn't a video of mine unless I've measured something. So let's see how tall these guys are. 8.5. So they would be, you know, just the right size for a standard size journal. Okay, there's blue, black, orange. Is black the reverse on every? Okay, so black is the base color. Orange, 2 shades of blue. Ah, purple. Looky there. So wouldn't these, because it's division, it could almost be folded and become part of a signature. Mind you, one side would be upside down. Or trim it. Or use it as a belly band. Yeah, I trim it and use it as a belly band. And then green. Oh, those are very nice. I actually now have a place where I'm trying to keep these kinds of things, flashcards and index cards and divide, you know, the little dividers separate. So a little bag of keys. I have a key collection. And of course, am I clever enough to actually use them in a project? No, I'm just hoarding them. These are interesting. They're not old, but they're cool shapes. I'm adding this to my collection. Duplication prohibited. Well, you heard it here first. Thanks, Carrie. That is cool. Oh, yeah. I think I saw her doing, yeah, those beaded dangles. I will add this to my paperclip collection. I don't know that I have that exact color of brass or gold, so thank you for that. Very good. Oh, and I always like, again, I like these kinds of things, but am I using them? No, I'm hoarding them. So thanks for these fancy dancy ones. I will make it my mission to begin using them. Now, this more handmade goodies. Button snippets. I'm still getting these crumbs off from this dictionary. Okay, let's dissect. This is so tiny. When you think about, like, Look at, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, wait. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5 pieces of fabric and a button. I love this combo. I mean, I've done these kinds of things in the past, but boy, this is a good reminder to use up, use up those itty bitty scraps that are just, kind of a nuisance and taking up space. And almost like mocking us, because there they sit. We can't bring ourselves to throw them away. Oh, look at this big button. And she's got a mixture of straight edges and zigzag edges, and just kind of put it all together. Okay, so it looks like, okay, that's all hand stitched. This is hand stitch as well, but it's just more steps maybe. Like this one very much too, with the blues. My daughter would like that green. Okay, this one has been zigzagged, and then she covered it with a button. And I have to say, it's also really nice that she's using special buttons. I have a gazillion buttons, and that's not far off the truth. But again, I still hang on to the ones that are the most special. And here she has shared those. I love those, Carrie. Got to be a bit bolder with my button choices, apparently. Okay, what have we here? Merry Christmas. Okay, so that's... Well, that's very cute. Look at this. How did she do that? I love that old-time Santa. An embossed tree with some Christmas washi. This looks like it's from, what do we call that? Oh, Ideals. Cute tag. Andy Rooney. I used to have some books by him. He was quite the clever observer of, these are cool. Quite the clever observer of human behavior. Ah, okay, this is cool. And look, she glued this down. Christmas cookery. A jingle bell. Extra special delivery from the North Pole or Louisiana. This is lovely. This is lovely. Oh, and a cute little... some grid paper. Another fabric ruffle. Love that plaid also. Coffee dyed. So I wonder, and she's got some charms hanging there. Like, do you see this? Oh! So it's a ready-made card with this in this cardstock color. Brother Sister Design Studios, Oklahoma City. And because it's got this scalloped edge, that's what the fold was like. And she just sewed very cleverly. That is smart. Smart, smart cookie. Okay, let's see this. So this is the same, flirtily, same sort of scenario, but in a wider, okay, let's start at one end. Interesting fabrics, and I do love a paisley. I do love ticking. Paisley, paisley, that's my girl. Ticking. So this one is very, well, I guess the other one is too, very cohesive because there's a repetition of the patterns. Oh, I don't think it's going to be easy to use this. I will want to just hoard it, I think. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of stitching. And she didn't worry about keeping her rows the same distance apart, which adds to that sort of homespun, handmade charm that we love. So thank you for that. And this stuff keeps going. I've never seen a black pin. Thank you for that. Oh, a couple of them. These are my colors. Pink. Yeah, that is cool. Thank you for that lace. And this eyelash trim. Okay. Dearest Hazel, thank you for being my higher harmonic. This is a page out of Julia Cameron's book, and I'm not sure which one it is. I absolutely love Julia Cameron. I got hooked on her and I didn't care for the color design. Normally, part of what attracts us to books is the cover design. It is that sort of almost mustardy gold and red cover. It has an Asian look to it. Anyway, it was called Artist's Way. I loved that book, and it was the beginning of a lifelong love affair with Julia Cameron. Very much a creative, very much an enabler and a mentor to creative people, and that is across the whole scope, whether you're a songwriter, a fine artist, a writer, whatever genre a person is working in. And what the heck was the third thing? 2 of the things that she really promotes are morning pages and artist dates. Well, and I couldn't get enough of her material. So I don't want to, detract from focusing on Carrie, but I will say that in a nutshell, the artist date is when we choose to by ourselves. So in other words, you don't have a kid with you, don't have a spouse with you, don't have your girlfriend with you. You do a solo outing with just you. You do a solo, that's poor grammar. You do a solo outing on your own. And I think if I remember correctly, that's weekly. So, and it doesn't have to be a whole day, and it doesn't, but the point of it being that you use that time to, as Zig Ziglar would say, prime the pump, to refill the well. Like, being creative is, I guess, involves expending creativity and energy and all of that. And in order to keep being creative, we need to replenish ourselves. And the artist date is the way to do that. So she throws out some examples like going to a fabric store. So the visual and tactile experience of being there is going to refill our creative reservoir. It could be browsing in a bookstore. And none of this has to cost anything. It could be going to an art gallery. It's whatever turns your crank in terms of kind of renewing your soul. How was that for a short description? Okay, but if you listen to all those sentences, you don't have to read the book. Morning pages is something that I have done on and off through first learning about them, and that's decades ago. And basically, the premise of that is you pick some kind of a book, and it doesn't have to be, a leather-bound, handmade paper, expensive thing. You select a book of some sort, and I have even used like school coil-bound, notebooks. Aligned, I guess, helps. And a pen, a fast pen. Like you don't want one of those where you kind of have to coax the ink out of them. And maybe you want it to be in a color, whatever. You pick a writing instrument and you pick a book of some sort. And upon waking, probably before anything else, you write 3 pages longhand, kind of stream of consciousness stuff. And you do that without stopping, and you do it without judgment, without, erasing, backtracking, crossing out, sitting and navel gazing. You just address the page, do your 3 pages. And I'll have to tell you, some days it flows like there's no tomorrow. And some days it is torturous. But if we do that, if we persevere and do that, it's cathartic, because frankly, sometimes I have found that I'm likely to turn to the page when something is irking me, something is troubling me, something has made me angry, although I have to say I'm not very angry very often. To get it on the page. So it's therapeutic. It's good for the soul. And some days it may be all, butterflies and unicorns and, all the sweetness in one's life and the gratitude and all that. So it is what it is. She suggests keeping them private. I don't know, sort of end of life, what a person might want to do with them. Because, if it's truly being used the way it's intended, potentially could hurt someone, I guess, if it fell into the wrong hands. But it's not something you leave out on the coffee table and, the family flips through every so often. It's private. And just to conclude the story here, she has many books. And very, very supportive, very enabling, a lot of pull quotes in the margins, and trying to debunk this notion that only certain people are creative. So it is so worth your while to find the books. There are kind of box sets, there are journals. You can find them often in thrift stores. You don't have to, pay full retail. Anyway, this was pre-pandemic. Someone in Edmonton brought her to Edmonton. Now, I'll just, for a bit of context, she was married to Martin Scorsese. So, she kind of traveled in some circles. Lives in New York. To be honest, I'm not even sure she's still alive. She was quite frail at that point. There were, a lot of rules set up about, she was literally fenced off from us. There was well, fence isn't the right word, but kind of a barrier. A person couldn't approach her. You couldn't ask for an autograph. There was a Q&A where you could go to a mic on the floor and ask her question. She answered it. She looked nothing like her book jacket photos because, of course, those were probably taken in her prime. She looked frail to me, and I don't know how old she was at that point, but as sharp as ever, and I just felt privileged and blessed to be in that room with those hundreds of other women, basically women. And yeah, her message has been consistent all these years. She was an addictive personality in that I believe she was an alcoholic. So, she got herself through that. That marriage broke up. I don't think she ever married again. She had one daughter, but she has some pretty impressive credits to her name besides all those books. She's written musical scores and plays and that sort of thing. So, can you tell I have a bit of a crush on Julia Cameron? Anyway, I don't think I have, because I've gone on so long, I will not read this to you, but Carrie, I think this just proves to me yet again that we are connecting on some sort of ethereal level. We both did, without knowing, without pre-planning, we each did a video on turning our vision boards into, journals this year without knowing that. I thought there was another very almost spooky type comparison or connection. It just slips my mind at the moment, but she has a very cute expression. I used to say, what was my expression? About something about different mothers. Hers is even better. It's sisters from different mistas. So I love that. And truly, we are sisters. So this was probably just some protection. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Oh, see? Why am I not doing modeling paste? Does this not... Oh, look at that fleur-de-lis. Is this not... I mean, the simplicity of this is kind of astounding. Oh, here she's inked it a bit. Book pages galore to last eons. So she's doubled up or folded this to make the tag. She's done that. She's done the stitching and the modeling paste. This has a bit of tint on it as well. This has a bit of tint. Oh, yes. Why? Sometimes the quest to create something new and exciting, there's pressure with that when just going back to the basics and using what we have and doing what we know is sometimes most effective. And I have my modeling paste is like, it's right over there. I could be doing it. Anyway, okay, this is the fabric washi. Because this obviously, just peel off the backing and stick it down. So that is so cool. And I did, before we went away, I did find my roll of carpet tape with the intention of using up some of my scraps. And that's also clever to zigzag after, well, I don't know when she did it, before or after, but that does certainly contain the edges a bit. Okay, let me just test something here. I saw her video on embossing fabric, and well, maybe she did other things too. And I was kind of shocked that you could double up. Now, was it paper or was it fabric? I just don't remember which. Maybe both. And run it through at the same time. So let's see. Do these match up? They do. So this would have been done in one fell swoop. That is so cool. And here's a piece of vellum and some metallic gold. And that soft, lovely green, black, cream colored. Okay, what did she do here? I wonder, well, no, I think I wonder, was that bought that way? Maybe so, because it's, or did she use metallic thread? I have metallic thread, but I'm kind of thinking it's going to be hard to work with because it splits so easily. Carrie, maybe you can tell me if you sewed that, did you make this? It almost seems like it because, okay, there is a dimension to this. So piece of paper, little sticker, slit for the paper clip, and some stitching just to give it some pizzazz. Cool. Okay, this is other, okay, I don't know what kind of paper this is, but it is nice as well. Okay, so that is a giant-sized envelope. A piece of, oh, I love that washi with those girls' hairdos. I might have to reuse that in my Celebrating Women journal. See, I don't know. I haven't been thinking out of the box with my envelope, or I mean with embossing, because I always just put a single layer through. But here, she's done both sides and the cellophane window. You can never have enough fleur-de-lis. I bought this years ago, probably at a place like, something like Winners, home decor store. I have a fleur-de-lis hanging on my wall that is that, do you remember when, sort of that plaster, aged plaster, or what I would consider a European, the kind of stuff you'd see in an old part of the world. Anyway, it's, maybe yay big. And it's got a variety of colors, and I might have to take it off the wall and show you one day. Anyway, Carrie, this has been a delight, and I very much appreciate that most of this stuff was done with your own little hands, which is truly remarkable considering that she works full-time. Like, she doesn't have the blessing that many of us do, in that we're old and retired. And look at all these homemade things or handmade things. This is intriguing. I love everything you sent, and I love the fact that it came from you. I will read the Julia Cameron page after this, and I would just say that if you are at all piqued by what I said about Julia Cameron, her books are readily available, especially the more popular titles, Walk Through This World. Oh, that's the other thing. She also suggests walking, because we know, and I don't do it enough, like, shame on me. We know that if we walk, and I don't mean with, something blaring in your ears, but if we walk in silence, that's when we get to hear our own thoughts, and that's where ideas bubble up. And we become aware of the climate around us. We hear, well, in my case, we would hear frogs in the ditch. We'd hear bird song. We'd hear leaves rustling in trees. We feel the sun and the wind on our faces or at our backs. And there is truly, I believe, a divine connection that happens. So if anyone can explain to me why I know all this, I've experienced all this, but I don't do all this, kindly let me know in the comments, because yeah, climate is a factor here. Like today, I can see the trees are blowing in the wind, but that's probably not a good enough excuse not to capitalize on the blessings. So again, Carrie, you made me think, you made me grateful, and I will forever. I've told her this in a note and whatever, that I think she is the nexus of, kind of my now U.S. connection, and I will be forever grateful to her for that. So please do yourselves a favor, check out her channel, subscribe to her channel, and see giving in action. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.